when you are.
Okay, brilliant. Paul Caddis, the season has finally come to an end. Not the end you were probably looking for against Boston, but I think the size of the crowd and the celebrations and the feeling around the stadium afterwards have put that all into some perspective, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, and I'm trying to almost see past the result today and look at the season as a whole. We're obviously disappointed we lost the game. We wanted to win the game. I think the first half we had the best chances. Then they come out the second half and got a goal pretty early, and I thought they managed the game out. By the way, they're a good team. They are a good team. You can tell that they get a lot of time together, and I wish them all the best. They deserve to be in the playoffs, and as I said, I wish them all the best. But yeah, just on us on a whole, I'm immensely proud to stand in front of the players and call them my players, and stand in front of these supporters and manage this football club. I'm extremely proud. The inner part of me, where I grew up at an academy at Celtic, and it's all about winning, and so the inner part of me is disappointed. We want to go one step further next year, and that's got to be the aim. As I said there when I addressed the crowd, we cannot stand still as a football club. There's no point of doing okay one season and then not so good the next, and then have a go the following year. We've got to keep moving forward, and that's what I'll strive for as manager.
Reading your programme notes before the game, you talked about the journey you've been on this season, but to see 4,000 in here, for me, was incredible.
Amazing, and I said it in my programme notes as well. It's I don't want to sound disrespectful, but I'm not surprised. That's a praise to the support. The support has been unbelievable from the off. Yeah, there's been difficult times, and that's management. I understand that. I know I've only been a manager for a season, but I understand that comes part of the job. When you go to Tamworth and you lose, and you have to stand there and take criticism, that's fine. That's how it is. There's obviously at the start of the season, no one knew who I was, and there was a lot of worries about new manager coming into such a big club, and I think we've coped well. I've not done it on my own by all means. I've got a brilliant assistant manager first and foremost, who I speak to more than I speak to my wife and my kids, and constantly we're on the phone non-stop. So a huge gratitude to Runes. He's been a brilliant source of comfort for me. The backroom staff with Sean and James and Dan and Pat have been amazing for us. So I'm not one for looking for praise or anything like that. I think and I don't deserve just to get the praise. The praise has got to be on the group, it's got to be on the club, it's got to be on the board, it's got to be... So just together, collectively, we've got to try and move the club forward and back to a place where it deserves to be.
What have you enjoyed the most about this season?
Probably, it's difficult for me now, but when I look back, I know I've touched on that Tamworth one, where that was the lowest of the lows for me, and I genuinely... We made a lot of decisions after that, moved a lot of players on, but probably going from that to then turning up here and seeing that today, and knowing that I know we had to go and win 11-0, but let's be honest, there was not really much on the game. So to see 2,500 compared to 2,500 more fans compared to the last game last season when I came in. So yeah, I'm really proud of the players. I'm proud of the connection that we've managed as a group to repair. I said at my programme notes, as you touched on at the start of the question, that the club was broken. That's probably the best way to describe it. It was broke when I came in. I didn't know that at the time. The chairman didn't know that until we actually got our teeth into it. So you'd have to ask the board, but if the board knew from the start that the club was in such a mess, they probably wouldn't have appointed me, because I was inexperienced. They'd probably look for somebody to try and pick the club up, and I'm really proud that I've played a small part in that, but the credit's all to the players and the supporters.
And obviously you've got a core of a squad already signed up for next season. What happens now in terms of those players that we haven't heard about yet? Yeah,
so we'll sit down with the players next Thursday. It's likely going to be, we'll give them Tuesday off now that the season's finished, and it will give myself and Runes more time to have a look at where we'll obviously know where we're going to be next year. We've got an idea. Weirdly, decisions won't particularly be made on the type of player or anything to do with ability. It's probably come down to financials. Players will want more money. We can't offer that at the moment, because this group we've got maybe 6 or 7 that are on kind of short-term loans and stuff like that. We've brought players in that not from the off, so we've got to try and get as many as we possibly can. Whether we do that is completely not out my hands, because that's me as if I'm passing on responsibility, but there will be offers made, and there will be natural that people want more money, people move on, people won't get offered more money from other clubs, and we're ready for that. We're ready to lose couple of big players. I don't want to put a downer on this afternoon, but there will be fans' favourites that will move on, and that won't be down to anything other than financials. It's not through, we won't be letting people go that we know that have got a relationship with supporters, we know that can do well for us, and you see that there's majority of the players are we'd love to keep, but we're in a market where unfortunately we can't quite get there yet.
And from your perspective, did you get a holiday at any point?
I've not booked anything yet, to be honest. I probably will still be non-stop for the next 3, 4, 5 weeks. We'll probably, myself and Runes, will go round to all the games in Step 3. I think there's another week left of the Step 3. We'll watch. Listen, that's where we'll probably recruit from, because that's where we're at as a football club. But don't get too disheartened with that, because we've done really well with the recruitment that we've managed to bring in. You're defined as a manager on your recruitment. Tactics and all that's brilliant, but if you've not got good players, then it's the players that make the manager look good. So I'll get a holiday, I'm sure, but for the next couple of weeks we'll still be working. We'll still go and watch the playoff semi-finals in our league. We'll go and watch a couple of players we've got an eye on other clubs as well.
Paul, it's been a great season to see the club turn around, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Have you got set positions in your mind that you'd like to see fresh faces in coming to the...
Yeah, we've conceded too many goals, we've probably not scored enough, so that's from back to front. That's not leaving wingers out or leaving, it's nothing. So we've got to try and address that, whether that's something we look at and we change how we play, whether we go and get different personnel in. There's a lot to weigh up. There's the decision to get rid of a player or let a player go is far more than just what the supporters will see on the pitch. There's certain people bring certain things off the pitch that gives you the results on the pitch. You've got big character in the dressing room. And it's difficult because as a manager you've got to think of right, well, if I move this one on, then how do you replace that character and big personality, and it costs. Good players cost money, but we'll try and go and find a few diamonds.
And does it, obviously having a successful first season as a manager, does it give you sort of, do you think differently ahead of next season? Obviously coming in as a fresh newbie manager, do you need short-term results to kind of keep your position?
Ideally we get as strong a squad in as we possibly can from the off. That was the disappointing thing, not through anything else. Just if you look at our squad now, and I've said before in previous interviews, I'm not disrespecting players that have been here, but if you look at our squad now compared to the start of the season, then it's night and day for me personally. I think that's came through cup runs and stuff like that, but in an ideal world we want to start with a really strong squad. We don't really want to wait on cup runs, but we might have to just accept that and try and get as best as we possibly can. All right.